Alright, we have the 5 stations to the dishwashing area. These are the 5 stations that SurfSafe use, so you need to know them in order. Okay. First step is scrape. Okay, scrape it. So we will scrape any extra food particles and stuff into a trash can over here. Notice we use a large bin trash can. We do not scrape any food into the wall of trash cans because that is for paper only. Okay. So we scrape. Second step is wash. We use a wash bay here. We'll go back to that in a second. Third step is rinse. Fourth step is sanitize. Fifth step is air dry on the racks. Key word is air dry because we don't want to wipe things down with wet towels and they have bacteria and gross stuff in them. Okay. So let's go back over to the wash. All of our chemicals are from Ecolab and they're pre-measured in this area, so we don't have to add water to them to begin with, which is nice. So we close the drain, you turn it until the valve is closed on the inside. You press this once, it's going to stop. Right? So to get it to constantly run, you push it, you give it a little turn to the right, and it locks in. Okay. Please remember, if you're the one that filled this up, turn it off. Every couple times a semester it'll overflow, and you got to clean up this big sudsy mess everywhere. So make sure you fill it up to the line. Okay. Rinse. Same thing, close the valve, fill it up with regular hot water. The rule of thumb is as hot water as you can stand. For North Carolina Health Department, the minimum hot water temperature for kitchens is 130 degrees. So you have to meet that. They'll take a thermometer, run it under the water to see that it's hitting that. Our water is really hot right now, so we'll be fine. In hotels, in a hotel room, they actually have a maximum so people don't get scalded. So make sure you know the difference if you work in a hotel. I believe it's 110 for hotel rooms and 130 for kitchens. So make sure you know the difference. Okay? So you fill that up to the line. Sanitize. Pre-measured chemical. We use a quat-based sanitizer. Get it under there. Yeah, this is where you'll fill up your sanitizer and your soap for wiping down your table. We use a quat. It's Q-U-A-T, not quad like the four. Okay. It's what most places use now. The old days, some of you may have used iodine, the brown liquid in there. Some of you may have used a bleach-based sanitizer. Everybody's going to the quat. This is a big bone of contention for a lot of people in their restaurants because they don't monitor it properly, so they always get point deductions in their inspections. So if we do it right, we shouldn't have any issues. So, we push it, turn it, let it fill up. To test it, it comes out of here pretty hot, so we want to cool it down. If we were to take a reading hot, it would actually give us a bad number, so we want to make sure it's cool coming out of there. So we take a pan, let it fill up, set it aside, and let it cool down. We want you to take readings as often as you can so you can let us know if there's a problem. If there's a problem with the equipment reading badly, we have to contact Ecolab. They come out and adjust it for us. We can't adjust it, so we need that control. We'll let it cool down. Hand me the sanitizer. This is the test strip that comes where it goes with this one. It's QT40. Okay. Please make sure you use the right test strip for the right sanitizer. Some of the other ones use different test strips, so make sure you check and use the right one. If you're using an iodine one, you might have to use a different tester. If you're using a bleach one, you might have to use a different tester. This is the one that goes with the quad. The magic number for the health department is 200 parts per million. Okay. ppm will be on your midterm, so make sure you know it's parts per million. Okay. Parts, like car parts, parts per million. This ranges from 0 to 500. and we want to be at 200, which is in the middle, and it's like a split pea color almost, somewhere in the middle. If it's too high, you can actually get children and elderly sick. They can get stomach viruses and stuff out of it because it's too strong for them. So we really want to make sure it's not over here, and of course we don't want it over here. So 200. So what we're going to do is pull a little piece off. If I can get it. Okay, just a good size strip like that. Don't keep this in your jacket pocket if you're working, because this will end up in the soup sometimes. So we don't want that in the soup. You put it in this pocket. Alright, so we don't have it in the soup. But it's always a good idea if you're a supervisor to have this on you so you can constantly spot check stuff. Take our strip. Some people say to move it around pretty vigorously. Some people say hold it still. I do somewhere in the middle. So we want 10 seconds of just a moderate shake. Okay. So we pull it out. Who's got my strip? You take a look at it, and that's pretty good, right? That's pretty close. That's perfect. Okay, so now we know that it's working great, and we can go ahead and fill it up and keep going. An inside tip for restaurants: if you know you're going to be busy a lot of the time, it's okay to have a little bit of a higher concentration, say 300 parts per million, because what's going to happen when you're constantly moving dishes down the line? You're adding more water to this, it's going to dilute the concentration. So by the time 2 hours have rolled by and the health inspector comes, it's at 200 parts per million. So that's a good rule of thumb. Sometimes it's too weak a lot because people don't have a higher concentration to begin with, so it comes in and it's like at 100 instead of 200. So it's something to always work on. When we're cleaning this area, we want to make sure we open one valve at a time, because we only have one drain, and they'll all back up if we don't do that. If we take a look at the drain, it has a physical gap between the floor and the rest of the drain. That's called an air gap, and that's required in all restaurants for any drain, any commercial kitchen. All the ice machines, the pot sinks, dish machines have to have that. If there was a backup from the street, that water would come back into the system and actually come shooting up your pot sink, your dish machine, your server station in the dining room, and we don't want that because that's unsanitary. So keep it on the floor at least, but it won't come into your food supply or anything like that. So that's why we have that backflow preventer. The last step is the air dry, which is right here. As students, we never put any dirty dishes on these racks. That's a big no-no, so please don't do that. And once they're air dried, we can move them along. If we get a big backup of dishes, say we're really busy, don't stack them up on the floor. Grab a rolling cart from somewhere, and stack them up, and then we'll move them through the line. Okay?